Okay, I'm back. And this is where we are last time. We're tracking the number of guesses, but I want to do something new now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this stuff and make sure that I've got it for later. And I'm going to do that by sharing it via email so that I can pick this up later, which I will. But I want to show you something new first. I want to show you something called lists and working with lists because I've got an idea for how to make this game even more fun. First, what is a list? So we already know that variables can be something like this. So let's say number equals 6, and we can say word equals Fred, right? And we know how that works. So if we say print number, it's going to print 6, and then if we say print word, it's actually going to say Fred. So let's go ahead and run this. So it's hid 6 and Fred. But there's another type of variable as well, or another thing you can work with called lists. This is what a list looks like. List equals, and then you have brackets. And you can put anything into a list, and it's kind of like storing multiple things. So here I'm going to store fruit names. Banana, and next one is going to be apple. Next one is going to be, notice that they're separated with commas, orange. And next one is going to be pear. All right, so now I've got this thing, and if I say print, I'm going to actually call this something besides list. I'm going to call it fruit list. So if I hit print fruit list, let's see what happens. I'm going to run it, and it's going to print this whole thing, banana, apple, orange, pear. But check this out. This is what I like, is I can also say just print one of the things in the list. So instead of saying print the whole list, print fruit list, and then bracket 0. 0 is the first item in the list, so now it's just going to print banana. Okay, first it'll print the whole list. Okay, here's the entire list. Oh, I misspelled print. And run. So it printed 6 here, then it printed Fred, and then it printed the entire list, fruit list, and then it printed just the first item in the list. So let's take a look at that a little bit more. So here's fruit list, and I can print 0. Let's run this, just simplifying it a little bit. It's only going to say banana. If I say print, let's see here, fruit list 1, okay, it's going to print apple. So first it printed banana, then it printed apple. Something else you can do is you can say print fruit list 0 to 1. And it printed just banana. So I wonder if I do 0 to 2, does that work? Experimenting a little bit here. Yeah, there it is. Apple, banana. Okay. Another thing you can do is you can add lists together. So fruit list and veggie list. Veggie list equals broccoli. And remember the commas have to go outside of the quotes. Carrots and celery. Okay, so now what if I do this? If I say food list equals fruit list plus veggie list. Okay, let's see what happens if I do that. Okay, no errors. And now if I say print food list, it's going to print all of them, hopefully. And it did. It printed all of them. It combined the two lists. So now I've got this list of foods, and I can actually see how long that list is. So what is the length of food list? Print length, L-E-N, food list. There's lots of things you can do with lists. So this is going to tell me how long the food list is. So a number is going to show up at the end of this. So the list of both of them is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, if I want it to give me a random item of food, I'm going to import random again. We've done that before. And I'm going to say print food list. And now I'm not going to say like 0 or something like that. I'm actually going to say, please print food list random dot rand range, and it's going to be 0 to len food list. Okay, now I know this is all a lot of brackets and stuff, so let's break this down a little bit. It's going to print a random item from food list, and it's going to say between 0, which is the first item, and 7, which is the last item in the list. Now it's interesting because the lists start with 0, so this might actually give me an error because I think, I'm going to comment this out for a second. There are only 7 items in the list, so if I say print food list 7, this should give me an error because even though there are 7 items in the list, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's not going to give me, it's not going to print something nicely here. It's going to give me an error. And index error, list out of range. It did not like 7. So I probably need to say with this one, get rid of this line, I need to say with this line, instead of, well, let's just see if it gives me an error. Okay, I'm going to see if it gives me an error after I run this a few times. So not an error there, not an error there, not an error there. Okay, it works because the random range, oh, let's see, is it ever going to give me banana? I need to make sure it's going to give me banana, and I need to make sure it's going to give me celery. It just gave me celery. And it did give me banana. Okay, it looks like it's going to work, that it never goes above 7. So this is a way of generating a random fruit, right? So if I do this, let's just clean this up a little bit. Right, here's my fruit list, here's my veggie list. I shove them together, and then I am able to call a random item. Broccoli, orange, carrots, carrots, broccoli. And I could do this like 100 times. So let's see, I'm going to say I equals 0. While I is less than 50, then print food list, and then I plus equals 1. So what this is going to do is print 50 random foods, hopefully. Okay, and there are 50 random foods, no errors. So what this is great for is giving a random message, if you will. Now I'm going to use this exact same technique to go back to my program with the random number generator and, I'm sorry, the guess my number, and incorporate a random insult if you miss the number. I think it'll be kind of fun. And we're going to work with lists to do this. Okay, so now you've learned how lists work, hopefully.